Hello world, it's Jen from jenandcarrie.com, and today I just wanted to share a little bit about my history and my testimony, what God's done in my life. Two totally separate things some people don't realize. Anyways, I am 28 years old and I grew up in Colorado, and I come from a rough sort of background. My parents split up my biological dad left when I was really young, and then my parents split up when I was a teenager. So I went through some really hard things as a teenager. I looked for love in all the wrong places, and I was constantly thinking that if I got this, or if I did this and acted this way, or bought this, or drank this, or smoked that, or did any of this stuff, that it would bring me fulfillment and it would satisfy me. And it really never did. I mean, I couldn't find anything to satisfy me that would maintain everything. I would have to do it again, or I would need it more, or I would, be looking for a person to satisfy my need, or a thing to satisfy my need, or a title to satisfy my need. And I was just really broken and hurt through a series of things that happened, and it left me sore and scarred and confused, and I didn't believe in God, and I surely didn't think that if there was a God that he even cared about me, or even knew who I was, because I went through such terrible things. I mean, things that aren't even worth describing, but it was just a really hard time for me. And I met my husband when I was 16 years old. We started dating, and I was having a lot of trouble at home. Just the person my mom had decided to be with after she left my dad was not the nicest person, and it didn't turn my mom into the nicest person. It's just really hard as a teenage girl to be without a dad, without a real place to call home, without, a strong influence in my life that was positive. Everything was very negative. It was very hard for me to be in the atmosphere that I was in, and so I ended up leaving home when I was 17. My husband grew up in a house where his father abused alcohol, and his mom loves God but didn't go to church, and so he went through some things at home that he wasn't okay with either. So we just ended up moving in together, finding a place to live when we were 17 years old. And I graduated high school about a month or two after I moved out. And that was really exciting time for me because it's something that I hadn't seen done in my family before. So it just, it gave me a little hope that I could give myself a better life, that I could go a different direction. And then my husband and I ended up getting pregnant with our 8-year-old daughter when we were 19 years old. And so that was kind of like my first really big reality check about, it's time to grow up, and I have this tiny person growing inside of me that's eventually going to be on the outside of me, and I'm going to have to bring up that person and show him how to live. And I took a step out, and I just stopped doing the things that we were used to doing to satisfy ourselves, and my husband eventually followed, and I was just super grateful. We ended up getting married a couple months before our daughter was born, and then we just kept living in darkness. We just constantly were fighting and arguing, and neither of us had ever witnessed a marriage that actually worked, and a healthy relationship that isn't codependent. It's just more working together and having a goal in your life, and just walking down a better path than what selfishness gives us. And so it was just hard for us when we first started out, because we didn't really have anyone to turn to for help, and we were just really angry and bitter all of the time, and every little thing would blow up into fights. And so just a really hard time for our marriage. And by this point, we had our second daughter, our 6-year-old, and things were just getting harder and harder, and I wasn't sure if we were going to make it, if we were going to last. And finally, one Saturday night, I came home, and my husband was laying in bed, and he was like, do you want to go to church tomorrow? And he was actually afraid to ask me, because he thought I would laugh at him and call him stupid, or I would leave him and just think that he was ridiculous. And in my mind, I was like, sure, we could go to church tomorrow. Like, I guess that's what good people do, and we're trying to be good people. We have 2 young daughters, and good people go to church on Sunday, and they wear khakis and do boring stuff. And honestly, that's what I thought. That's where my heart was. And so I agreed, and we started going to church the next day, and we found a really good church in Loveland, Colorado, that just, we could feel something in the atmosphere. And my husband got saved like right away. He just had an encounter with God during worship service, and the Spirit just changed his life. And we kept going weekend after week, week after week, and I would sing the songs because I like singing along to songs. So I would sing the songs, and I would listen to the messages, and it wasn't until about 4 or 5 weeks later that just the Holy Spirit just drew my heart into the presence of God. And the pastor was preaching on grace, and how it's just this phenomenal gift that we don't deserve, but it is a gift nonetheless that that we can accept. And something in the message just spoke to me. I know it was the Spirit of God. It just spoke to my heart, and I had an encounter with Jesus, and I accepted him into my life, and I submitted my will for my life to him. And it was such a powerful encounter that it left me changed forever. And I just got this really deep hunger for knowing who God was, because I had heard, people talk about Jesus in times past, and I was just like, yeah, he was some guy who maybe existed a couple thousand years ago. What does that have to do with me now? And so I was just hungry about, who is this Jesus really? And I just knew that God was real because I had felt his presence. It was something that I had never felt before in my life, and it was just incredible. Anyways, I ended up jumping into Bible study. They were offering Bible study. I walked in. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm very shy, introverted type of girl, and I don't approach people I don't know and strike up conversations, and I don't make videos to post online for the whole world to watch and judge and look at and notice me. And just really, I was brave to myself and walked up and just joined this amazing table and started doing a Bible study, and it was Beth Moore's Breaking Free. It was such a perfect time for me to be introduced to the things of God, doing a study about breaking free from bondage and sin and strongholds and generational curses. And it was just incredible, and it changed my life, and it just kept me hungry. And so the church I was going to offered the Bible study in the morning and the evening for people that, work during the day. They can go to the evening ones, and stay-at-home moms and other people that have different schedules, they could go to the morning one. And it was the exact same thing, morning and evening. There was no difference between the two. And I was so hungry, I ended up going to both of them. I would go in the morning and I would go again in the evening, and it just blessed my life. I just got involved. I didn't even have a Bible yet when I started attending Bible study, and so it was really exciting for me to call my grandparents who live in California and say, hey, I've accepted Jesus into my heart, and I've just had this encounter with God. And they were so excited, and the reason I wanted to share it with them is because I knew that they believed in God, and they had been praying for me my entire life, just not verbally to me, but in their prayer time they would pray for me, and they pray for our entire family. And it was just so cool, and they were so touched by it that they sent me a Bible, and I treasure that Bible. It's my only Bible really that I read out of, other than my Bible app that I have on my phone. And every time I open it, I think of them, and I pray for them, and I thank God for them. It's just super exciting moment in my life. So that was what God did for me. He just showed me who I was. He showed me that He is God, He is real, and He really created everything, and He planned for me to be in this world. I wasn't a mistake like I thought that I was, and I wasn't, meant to live in this torment and this pain and anger and anguish, and ashamed of things that I had done, ashamed of the person that I was, ashamed of the choices that I had made throughout my life. And it was just incredible to just have that life breathed into me the second that I accepted Him. My life drastically changed. I put down the things that I was doing before that were bringing me shame, that I was seeking fulfillment from, that I wasn't even getting. And my husband and I went through a marriage course through the church, and it transformed our marriage. I mean, I am being completely honest to you. I wasn't sure we were going to make it. I'm pretty sure we were heading down the road of divorce, and that's not what I wanted. I've loved him since I was 16, and I have no idea why the Lord gave him to me at 16, but we know that we were meant for each other, and God transformed our marriage, and now we don't even argue, we don't have fights, we don't call each other names, we honor each other, and we respect each other, and we're able to communicate with each other in a way that isn't hurtful. And that's just a huge miracle, because we had no idea what we were doing. And just coming to God and letting Him apply His word to us, His life to us, it transformed our marriage. It brought it to life. It was dead. It was dying. It was close to complete death, and He breathed new life into it and just transformed it. And that has just changed our lives, and it's good for our daughters to see that too. to see the new us. I just feel like it's going to give them our ceiling is going to give them just this high floor that they're going to be able to launch off that we didn't have available to us when we were growing up. And so I'm just super thankful that God did that for us, that He drew us into His Spirit. His word says that He loved us first. So if you're not walking with God, or you don't know if God is real, then I just want to pray that He would draw you to His heart, because He loves us first and He draws us in. And I wasn't really seeking God. I was just going to church so that I could be a good person, so I could be seen as a good person, and it had nothing to do with relationship with God, or, it was just something that I was going to do on Sundays, and that was it. The Lord had a completely different plan for my life, and it's been a crazy adventure, and I've seen Him do amazing, miraculous things through our life, and I'm excited to share more about that. But I just wanted to share this video to give you a little bit about my history and where I came from and what God did for me when I first came to Him, that transformation that He made for me. He truly did bring me out of the darkness and into the light, and I've been pursuing Him ever since. I've had multiple encounters with His Spirit and things that happen in my life that are unexplainable. You can only have so many coincidences in your life until you just have to face the facts that God is real, that He loves you, He is for you and not against you. And He wants to see you thrive, and He wants to see you prosper. He wants to breathe life into those areas of your life that are dead. And He wants to bless you beyond reason. And all He wants you to do is acknowledge that He's real and submit your life to Him. Let go of the plans that you have for your life. Let go of the opinions and thoughts that you have about who God is and who Jesus is, and just seek His presence in your own personal, intimate time. Don't let someone else tell you that He's not real. Don't let someone else tell you this, and this about Jesus. Learn it for yourself. Open a Bible, read the Gospel of John. Is my favorite gospel. Read any of the Gospels. Read all of the Gospels. Just read it and seek God for yourself, and He will reveal Himself to you, and He will give you a relationship that is life-changing, that is life-giving, and He will bring you out of darkness into light. So I know this video went super long, but I just really had it on my heart to share what God did for me, who I was before I came to God, and who I am now. Now I am just a completely different person, and it's all because of Jesus. It's not because I did A, B, and C and now I have a good life. It was the Holy Spirit of God coming into my life and inviting me to have a relationship with Him, and me saying yes. Yes, I want to have a relationship with you. Please come in and fix this mess that I've made. So I just hope that encourages, even if it just encourages one person. I pray that this video would take root in your heart and cause you to reflect on your own life and seek God and know that He is real, and submit your will for your life to Him, and He will show you what His will is for your life. And it sounds scary, but it is beyond good. Like, it's super good. is even better than super good. But the only way you're going to know is if you seek Him for yourself and you experience that power of God. So I pray that the Lord would bless you and speak to you through my testimony and my history, and just encourage you that if He could do this for me, the sinner of all sinners, He could do it for you. There's nothing too disgusting or shameful or hateful that He can't take away and redeem you from. He's waiting to redeem you. He's waiting to restore you and give you new life. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'd be happy to pray with you. I'd be happy to tell you more. There's multiple ways to contact me. So, email, Facebook message, anything. So I hope this blesses you. I'll talk to you later.